The Pixel 4 was one of the most leaked phones ever, and it's very similar to previous Pixel phones. It has a great software experience and camera, but is that enough to make this phone worth upgrading to? Let's take a look. So it's been a little over a month since this phone was officially released, and I think that's a good time period to really get to know a phone and really see the pros and cons from purchasing it. I have the Pixel 4, not the Pixel 4 XL, but most of what I talk about will apply to both phones. There are some differences, and let's get those differences out of the way before we get started on the review of the Pixel 4. The Pixel 4 XL, just like the name implies, is the larger version of the Pixel 4. The Pixel 4 XL has a 6.3 inch compared to the regular Pixel 4, which has a 5.7 inch screen. The XL version also has a higher resolution. It has a Quad HD Plus resolution, and the Pixel 4 just has a Full HD Plus display. The battery is also bigger on the XL version. It has a 3700 mAh battery compared to the regular Pixel 4, which has a 2800 mAh battery. So other than those three things, these two phones are pretty much the same in every other area. They have the same software experience, same camera. So I'm gonna let you know what I like, I love, and I hate about this phone. So let's start off with the things that I like about this phone. Let's start off with the design. And for some people, this is one of the things that they didn't like about the Pixel 4, but I actually really like the design. The problem is I got the black version, and that was my mistake. Don't get the black version. Unless you want a glossy fingerprint magnet phone, stick with the just white or the oh so orange version, because those come with a matte finish and they look and feel much better in my opinion. Even though the just black version is a fingerprint magnet, glossy, and very slippery, it still looks very nice, at least in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of the square camera bump, but I do think it looks much better than the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro does. I'm not a big fan of the bezels up front either. This phone has a big forehead and a smaller chin, but I will say this, it is way better than the ugly with a capital U notch last year's Pixel 3 XL had. It's not the greatest design, but I kinda like it. It's not bad. The other thing I like about this phone is the display. I wish Google would have made it brighter, because outside I do have a hard time seeing the screen when it's really bright, but I think Google did pretty good with the display. It has good viewing angles indoors, colors pop. It's not as good as Samsung displays, but I do enjoy watching movies and videos on it. The 90 Hz screen is smooth. I like using it. Google removed the front-firing speakers from this year's Pixel phones, but you still get two speakers, one on the bottom and the other one in the earpiece up front, and the speakers get plenty loud and are pretty good as well. So you're going to enjoy watching movies and videos on this phone. Now let's get into what I love about this phone. Let's start off with the software experience. This is one of the best parts about owning a Pixel phone. If you want the best software experience on an Android phone, buy the Pixel phone. I love Google's True version of Android. It's clean, no bloatware, and everything just feels simple and easy to use. And let's talk about the gesture navigation controls that Android 10 has now. To put it simply, if you're used to using an iPhone and its gesture controls, you will have no problem with the Android 10 gesture controls on the Pixel 4. Swipe up from the bottom to go home, swipe up and hold to see your open applications and navigate to them, and swipe down to see your notifications, and swipe up from the home screen to see your app drawer. You can also go back by just swiping from the edge of the left hand or right hand side of the phone. It's simple and easy to get used to. If gesture controls are not your thing, you can go back to the software navigation buttons that we've seen on Android for such a long time, but I actually love the gesture controls, and that's probably because I'm used to using them on an iPhone. Also, face unlock is really quick. I'm surprised how quick it is. I compare it to an iPhone, it's that quick, at least in my opinion. The radar sensor up front, it helps with certain things, I guess. I really don't use it that much. I know Google said that you can swipe right or left above the screen so that you can skip songs, but I never used it. I think the best thing that it's used for is the face unlock, because it can tell when you're getting near the phone and start waking it up, so the face unlock works faster. The other thing I love about this phone is the camera. And I know that's not really a shocker. The camera is great, but we knew the camera was going to be great because it was great on any other Pixel phone. But let's talk about it anyways. Google decided to finally add another camera lens. You have a 16 megapixel main camera and a 12 megapixel telephoto lens, and I know many people are complaining and wondering why Google put a telephoto lens and not an ultra-wide lens. But let's just be happy Google added another lens, period. Google always seems to be behind the curve when it comes to adding more lenses. When other companies were adding 2 lenses, they were stuck with 1, and now that everyone has 3, they stick with 2. But the photos you get from the camera are spectacular. Portrait mode is great. It does a great job on blurring the background, even with hard objects like hair out of place. It does a great job focusing on that hair and blurring the rest of it out. Night sight is also pretty good. You consistently get nice shots when the lighting isn't the best. And the great thing about this camera is you know you're going to get good photos without having to mess around with the controls so much. Video recording on this phone is okay. I wouldn't say it's the strong point of the camera, but it's decent in my opinion. The only issue I have is 4K recording. It's able to record 4K, but it maxes out at 4K 30 frames per second. If you want 60 frames per second, you have to drop down to 1080p. So I just don't understand that. But other than that, it's still one of the best cameras on any smartphone. So now, let's get into the things I hate about this phone. And let's start off with storage. This phone starts at only 64 gigabytes of storage, and it maxes out at 128 gigabytes, which is just not great. But when the OS takes up to 15 gigabytes of that storage, it makes it even worse. I don't know what Google was thinking. And then Google decides to remove the free original resolution storage for Pixel owners with the Pixel 4. That's just not right. Google's motto used to be, "Don't be evil." Well, I'm guessing there was a reason they don't use that anymore, because this is just evil. They should have at least given you the option of getting more storage. The other thing I hate about this phone is battery life. And this is specifically talking about the Pixel 4, because I know the Pixel 4 XL has better battery life because it has a bigger battery. But let's just put it simply. Battery life is bad. Google only put a 2800 milliamp hour battery inside this phone. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know why you couldn't fit a bigger battery into the phone. Just to give you an idea, I took a screenshot of my phone with the time and battery percentage. So this is my morning. It was at 100%. I sent some emails, sent some text messages, watched some videos, and now, after getting home, this is my phone's battery about 8 hours later. No charging in between, no putting the phone on power saver mode, nothing. This is how the phone ends up. So you're not going to get through a full day with this phone. So keep that in mind. If you want a phone that's going to last you the whole day, no problem, you might want to look elsewhere. The phone comes with an 18-watt fast charger and wireless charging, but that's still not enough to make up for this battery life. So after looking at what I like, I love, and I hate about this phone, the question is it worth buying? The simple answer, for most people, no. For $799, and $899 for the XL version, there are other phones that give you way more value. The OnePlus 7T, for example, has more storage, a bigger screen, better battery life, and it's $200 cheaper. The only person I can see buying this phone is someone that loves a Pixel camera experience and the shots you get with it, and those who love the clean Android experience only Google and the Pixel phone can give you. But if you're not that person and instead you're just trying to get the most value for your money, you might want to look elsewhere. But also keep in mind, Google always puts this phone on sale, so if you can find it on sale for maybe $200 cheaper, I would say it's worth it. What do you think of the Pixel 4 and the Pixel 4 XL? Do you plan on buying any of these phones? Let me know with a comment down below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos on tech news, reviews, and opinions, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of our new videos. Thanks for watching.